Welcome to the journey of an awakening spirit with your host, Kathleen Flanagan. The journey of an awakening spirit is about teaching you a variety of tools that you can use to step into your true self. It is about self-discovery, realizing you are not alone on your journey. We will open the phone lines, give readings, and talk about what our listeners want to know. So please welcome the host of the journey of an awakening spirit, Kathleen Flanagan.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Journey of an Awakening Spirit. This is Kathleen Flanagan, your host, and we are streaming on the Bold Brave TV network. The purpose of the show is to help you realize you are not alone. You are in control of your life. It does not matter what your lot in life is or where you came from. We have all felt pain, suffering, hurt, abandonment, loneliness, hopelessness, etc. This show helps you to take those dark moments and turn them around to create a whole new you. We were taught to be a certain way, act a certain way, conform to society. Being socialized is not bad, but it can put constraints on us. The guests I bring on the show are telling you their story of where they came from, the obstacles they overcame, and where they are today. They are sharing the tools they use to recreate themselves in their life. Some of the guests are still in their process, beginning a new process, comfortable in their process, or even reinventing themselves. They are giving you tools that they use to gain insight into themselves, to take control of their life, and become the person they are today. On podcast.kathleenmflanagan.com is a list of guests that have been on the show with their contact information. I am aware that you may resonate with one or several of them. My desire is that this becomes a community where you have access to the people you wish to align and utilize the tools that they have, as well as the tools being offered on kathleenmflanagan.com. AwakeningSpirit.com is an aromatherapy-based body care line that offers alternative healing remedies that use natural and organic ingredients. We are offering a 40% discount by entering Brave TV into the coupon code. The products are guaranteed. If the product is not working, please contact me and we can reformulate the product specifically for you. Grandma'sNaturalRemedies.net is a CBD company that uses essential oils in every blend and either has broad spectrum or an isolate. Every product is tested and the lab results are on the website. We are offering a 20% discount by entering Brave TV in the coupon code. I start the show every week with sound from the tuning forks. I bring in love, happiness, and balance. This sets the tone for the show and brings out the best in both myself and my guest. Let's begin. Zak is a multidimensional being that has experienced life differently. Since the age of 3, she has had many encounters with spirit, and not all pleasant ones. You may hear her say, some people watch horror movies, others live them. Zak lived them. In 1997, Zak went through a thyroid cancer and her first massive spiritual awakening. From going through many ups and downs in life and experiencing depression more times than she wants to admit, Zak has always found herself going back to her truth is where the most happiness was found. As a galactic elder, master key holder, 12th strain activator, soul activator, and Jesus-loving human, Zak has the pleasure of bringing many through a journey of inner self-discovery, conquering both past and present lives to heal the present and the future self. Today, Zak finds pleasure in guiding women through the process of spiritual awakening, serving the truth, and finding humor throughout the way. Spiritual awakening shouldn't be painful. It's about becoming mindful and cultivating the light from the darkness of life into something more pleasant for the soul. Zak runs the bold, fierce, unstoppable woman's inner circle, as well as hosts messages from the other side live events. Welcome, Zak. Hello.
Well, hello. How are you? It seems like something going off my camera.
Okay, we start off right off the bat frozen. I love it.
Do we
Spirit
ever
is
catch a break?
constantly. You're the only guest so far, honey. You're the only guest that we go through this with. I think Spirit just wants us to have a play date.
Yeah, I
Okay, you're frozen. Well, we'll give your camera a moment to unfreeze, I think, because at least you got a nice. Oh, there you are. Oh, I love this. Technology is wonderful when it comes to the two of us on this show. Oh my God. Okay, well, I'm going to just talk and you come in when you have a moment, when you unfreeze. For some reason, this is going on. I'm not sure if you should, we do a telephone conversation. I'm not sure if that would be the best thing to do at this point. So I'll let the team talk to you when we get this reconnected. Well, we're going to talk. Zak's been going through quite a bit of stuff right now personally in her life, and it's about filtering through messages. And I started rereading my third book of Dancing Souls, and which is now called Awakened, and the cover's done, and it's absolutely beautiful. And as I'm rereading this book, I have noticed that I have been teleported back into my past, remembering things, and getting a bigger picture of what's going on. And throughout the book, this is about the journey of an awakening spirit, and this is my personal journey that I have. And it's time to bring the trilogy in full circle, to bring it all out. And my editor asked me to give a summary of this book. And in order to give a summary, because it's been a long time since I wrote the book and actually reviewed it, I'm rereading it. And I find where I was in 2008 when this book was being written is actually what's happening on the planet today. Now, I knew that I was moving forward and that I was a way shower and I was preparing the way for what was coming, but I don't think I understood fully to that degree what I was doing and fulfilling until I read it now and see where our world is today. There was a lot of confusion going on. I'm just getting to the part where my mother died, where that massive change really occurred, where the hopelessness came in. But prior to that, I was doing a lot of healing work for the planet. I was releasing many, many abuses on women, on what we did to ourselves, what men did to us, with rape, with miscarriages, with self-abortions, all of the things that went on, and reliving some of this with some of the men that I was with at that time that were brought in for me to move in this direction, that were enlightened enough to help me to transmute this energy. I was also discovering during that period of learning to find my voice and say no more of abuse of men, because some of these men were still abusive. It doesn't matter if they're spiritually enlightened or not. In my opinion, you're not really spiritually enlightened if you're abusing women and demeaning them or shaming them or feeling insecure because the woman is stronger or more awake, or their heart's open, or they're holding more energy, or whatever it is that goes in a man's mind. But what was the most interesting about when I was reading what I've read so far was there was a point that I was on the table and this gentleman was working on me, and I was guiding him through this healing process because I knew what I needed to do. And I had an opportunity to leave my body again, and I was asked not to leave, so I didn't, but I wanted to leave. And I remember there were points where he was touching my body in this healing, and I felt nothing. There was deadness. And what triggered was what happened to me, and it said 4 years old with my father. Now, I don't have any recall on any of that. I really, truly don't. And it's fine that I don't. I just know that something happened because I actually left my body at that point. And then when we were doing this session, I was actually coming back into my body. I was remembering. I was also being reminded of why I was here and the anger that was going on because who I was in the books was I was erased. I became a draconian, a reptilian creature in the book, and I was here to create a covert plan. That's what the journey of the awakening spirit is. This is my personal journey of my awakening that I was sent to Chicago to write about. And all of this unfolded as I was there. When I realized what was going on with this, and there was a point that this gentleman, his name was Ken in the book, and we'll keep it a Ken. He and I went to this park in Wheat Ridge to work on a couple of these old ancient trees, and they were, I think Barbara and Harvey were their names. And there was a lot of insight that comes in because there's a lot of messages that were delivered in this book, a lot of dreams. And I'm reading it and I was like, oh my God, this is what this actually happened. These dreams actually came to pass. I didn't know that then, but they actually did. And there was a point that I had to remind the trees, because the trees are ancient, and part of what the trees do and nature does for us is they take in the carbon dioxide and then they transmute it and give us oxygen. I was watching Seth Dietland. He has a little video that he produced that came out that I watched this morning. And he talked about the purpose of our trees. And part of the trees, and this is a meditation he gave as well, the trees are about when you touch them or hold them. And I love hugging trees and holding trees and all that. I do that all the time. What I didn't realize is they were taking all the dark, negative entities, dark thoughts, anger, frustration, fears, whatever it is. They actually take that away from us. And they take it in and they take it all the way down into their root system. And then they build beautiful trees, leaves. The leaves come out, they grow. And what we receive from the tree is vitality and health and vibrancy and peace, that it's all fine, all is well with the world. So even though the trees are doing the carbon dioxide and making oxygen for us, they're also taking the darkness within us and transmuting that into us becoming, by design, who we truly are. So when I was working with these two trees in Wheat Ridge that day, they were angry at me because they know who I am. And they were very angry at me because they thought I abandoned them. But I was the one that was abandoned, in my opinion. And so I had to remind them. But the part that was the most fascinating about this was that women, we take on pain. That's part of our job, is we know how to take on pain, to transmute pain, to move through pain. And part of that pain is that when we do that, we're also here to take and teach people, men, children, doesn't matter, how to still love through our pain. That's part of our design. Unfortunately, that's part of it. But we have this open heart and we are connected to spirit in a way that we generally don't know. But part of that is what our design is. And us women coming back into our true magnificence is part of what we have to do. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a quick short break, and we will be back momentarily. And hopefully Zak will be on the line with us.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them. We discover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Kathleen Flanagan, your host, and we are streaming on the Bold Brave TV network. And my understanding is Zak is back in the room, so she will join us as soon as the engineering team gets her all situated. What I was talking about relating to the trees and nature, there's a lot of people that will talk to you that you find peace and tranquility in nature. I've always found that going to an ocean, going to a lake, that type of thing. As we're going through these transitions, staying focused and centered and calm is what we need to keep doing for ourselves. I mean, we are living in crazy, hectic times, and now when the holidays are upon us, and we know that creates a lot of stress in our lives. And I know that Zak has been having her own personal issues. We all seem to be having issues about something or another, but this is all part of the contrast. We're constricting for the expansion. That's what's happening in our world, that our planet is evolving. We are arising, we are shifting up. And the only way to make this easier is to stay present here and now and do the self-care for you. So Zak, I hear that you're back on, so let's go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh my God, I don't know what happens. All the time you and I get on a phone, something goes crazy.
I'm telling you, it's spirit. I think our energy is just a little too much for technology.
I'm literally talking to you and I'm like moving and I was like, oh, now it froze and now it kicked me out and I have red lipstick on and I think I look good, but maybe I'm not supposed to be on camera, you know. But you just have to go with the punches. Like I was listening to what you were speaking about earlier and what you're saying today about being in the forest and being in nature. And that's where I truly find myself. And as you know, Kathleen, this week has been from last week to this week, it's been a very challenging 7 days for me. And literally, I think I'm finding myself all over again, not in nature, not in the desert or not in the trees, but really in my breath, because that's the only thing I had energy to do was to sit still and get into my breath. And just before the show, I said to you, Kathleen, I'm having a good cry. Something's coming through. And it was crazy because as I'm sitting here and just calling in God into my body, because I'm like, God, this is not mine. This is yours. This is your duty. This is your responsibility. This has nothing to do with me. So whatever I'm going through, you have to have your hands in this. You have to have your spirit in this, because I can't do this without you. And I never claimed I could do it without you. So you need to catch the reins on this, my friend. And it's so interesting, a few breaths later, and I feel like a brand new person, like I wasn't even going through my ugly crying face or anything like that. And it just blows my brains because 5 minutes later, I try to get on the show with you, and all of technology goes crazy. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, God, that's you. Because it's so powerful that technology can't even withstand you. That's how powerful you are. But we have to realize at the same time, as you know, I'm channeling right now, Kathleen, is that we have to realize that power is within each and every one of us. It's when you call in the energies that you call in. And if you're calling all these energies of defeat and anger and shame and guilt and fear, you're going to be stuck in that anger. But I couldn't sit in this place of defeat like I felt in the last week. I just, every day, I'm like, God, there's no heat in the house. There's no hot water. I have a situation with my mother's house. I don't know how I'm going to get through this, but with you, God, I could move mountains with you. And it gets to that point where I think today was, because we're getting the heat, we're getting the hot water today. I think today was my body saying, you got through this. You overcame it. You learned some lessons. You fought some demons. You fought your own emotions. You took down roadblocks. And I'm going to say this because I feel like it has to be said. Every time we go to change something, every time we go on upgrading ourselves, or I'd like to say activating ourselves, something will always try to get in the way. Because here I was taking a financial literacy course and literally hiring a business coach, and 2 days later I have no heat. And it was like, I got to put this stuff aside right now, because the most important thing right now is to get heat and hot water in this cold weather. I got to deal with that part first, but I'm coming back to the other things. And the reason that things like this always seem to happen, and I say always, and I rebuke that because I hate when it happens, it's like the enemy knows the power you have within you, and it wants to take you down. And it takes you down by going through your mind and telling you you're not good enough. You have imposter syndrome. Other people are better than you. Who do you think you are? And I'm like, I'll show you who I am. Just let me get this out of the way and let me show you who I am. And that's really about standing in your conviction with confidence and knowingness. So just that little snippet that you said there about being in the forest and hugging a tree or being around trees, it triggered everything inside of me right now. And what I said to you, and of course the big guy upstairs is speaking through my body, but everyone needs to start believing within themselves and start getting rid of these false beliefs that they're carrying, that the enemy likes to plant those seeds and create roots. And then those roots, I mean, you have to dig deep. And when you're digging deep, it gets uncomfortable, but you have to get uncomfortable in order to grow. You have to get uncomfortable in order to see why you're creating the same patterns, beliefs, and systems in your body. So time to get naked with yourself. And if you don't like the way that looks, then you got to change some things around. If you got to really get clear in this understanding of what you want, because the magic is truly inside of you.
Very true. Very true. I know that rereading the books and all the stuff that I went through during my process of this awakening and writing about what the awakening process is and the ascension process is, I've been connecting with a lot of different people to be guests on the show. And it's mind-blowing to me, the amount of people that are out there that have changed their ways, that have, every single person talks about feeling unfulfilled somewhere. And it's in that discontent of feeling unfulfilled that there's something bigger than chasing the almighty dollar. Money is just, it's ludicrous. I mean, it doesn't bring happiness. And I know yesterday I said, I'm getting tired of feeling like I'm in limbo, but I'm also not tired of being in limbo because I know that everything's going to change, and it's going to change very quickly when that time comes. I'm at a point where I'm enjoying it, but there's this part of me that's like, I'm ready to move. I feel like I'm getting more settled in myself. Like I have a direction. And the only reason that direction is showing up for me is because I'm not moving. I'm in a limbo state. What do I want? Where do I want to go? What makes me happy? And I'm back into this entire place, and then rereading the book and some of the stuff that I went through, because, I'm thinking, because when I sent that link over to you about Seth, I thought, I did this in 1990. All the stuff he's talking about, I was bringing forward in the 1990s. So again, and then I was talking to somebody today about awakening spirit, and I was telling her, I said, I have been on this path since 1990s. Okay, honey, I am not behind the leaderboard. I'm in front of the leaderboard. I'm the one taking the arrows in the chest. I'm the one who's talked about transparency and taking care of the planet and all of that. And when I was a wackadoodle, they all thought I was crazy because I talked about organic foods and recycling when none of that was really out there yet. And I'm doing all of this. And so here I am now 30 years later, pretty much. And all of a sudden the world is caught up to me, but I'm still probably 20 years ahead, don't even know I'm there yet. But it's because I take that time to look inside, to be still, to be quiet, look at what's coming up. If I don't like it, change it, because I don't want this crap anymore. I carried a lot of garbage for a long time. And I carried a lot of hurt. And then also reading when I came back and then getting more insight of what transpired during that particular event in my life. I saw more. And I didn't know there could be more to see. And yet I know there's always more to see. But you don't think like that after you write something 20 years ago and you think, oh my God, here we are. Well, 15 years. But it's still... I mean, I know where you're at because that's what I'm doing. I'm constantly paying attention to where I'm at. I'm asking God, help me to feel worthy and deserving. I know that this is a core belief that I have, that I think I'm unworthy, but what I do know is I do matter. And every person matters because we are matter. We are in matter. That means we're here for a reason. We're here for the ascension. That means we have to wake up, people. We have to deal with ourselves. We need to bring that. There's this beautiful world, because when Steph was talking, I remembered the 11:11, the doorway of the 11:11. My birth time is 11:11. Okay. If that wasn't a message, I don't know what it was. And I remember because he's talking about the two worlds are coming together. We're together right now. And I'm like, oh my God, everything in the 90s that I was part of with bringing the two worlds together is here. But they're going to separate. They will separate. And we get to jump ship from the 3D world and move into the new world. And that new earth is way better than this earth. And this is our opportunity for all of us light workers, to come together, to open up and share and bring these people along with us, because I know most people want something better than this crazy, chaotic world. So I know that the craziness that's in your life right now, you and I go through this off and on. Thank God that one's going through it, the other one's there to help support and bring insight that we might see that you can't see, or each other can't see, kind of thing. So I get it. And I trust God, because that was the one thing I talked about, was trusting God the whole time I was in my chaos in Chicago.
Yeah. You know, it's funny when you're saying about the chaos in this world, because I heard you're not from this world, but you're in this world. So it just really matters where you are standing within yourself, because you could be stuck in the 3D world, or you could bring yourself to whatever dimension you want to bring yourself into, the 5, 6, 10, 15, 20. But you could, once you're grounded into the earth, you're here to have awareness, but you're not to be part of it. And being part of it is about being part of, how we were speaking earlier, is about being part of something bigger and something different. And we're not going to be able to change everyone's trajectory of their life or what they want to do, because they're not seeing themselves in the eyes of the divine. They see themselves more on this 3D earth plane, on how they've created this life. But at the end of it, happiness is what everyone's going to be losing. And money can't buy you happiness. It buys you conveniences. And that's one thing I've always said. And the more that you realize that it's a deep core issue, happiness is the ultimate choice. But however, what I was working on a few months ago, someone contacted me and they said, Zak, you know what the highest vibrational frequency is? And I was like, I think it's joy. And they said, no, it's authenticity. And I said, well, I guess I live in that higher vibrational frequency, because I don't care what you think about me. I don't care what you say about me. I will say whatever comes out of my mouth. And if you are offended by what comes out of my mouth, that has nothing to do with you. Then that is a you problem, not a me problem. And the more authentic I become within myself is because I become confident. And because I've been through hell in a handbag, as you've been, and a lot of people have been, you build this resilience inside of you. You build this confidence inside of you. You build this, I say, this warrior inside of you that it could be soft, it could be fluffy, but it can also be hard. And those hard times, and not the hard times, but in that hard place where it comes, it's like, oh, I know this feeling. This feeling is an understanding. So it's just a matter of us, all of us, wherever you are on this journey, because it's easier for me to overcome things because I've been doing it for the last 50 years. Okay, say 45 years. But it was hard at the beginning. When you first get your tools and you have your toolbox, you don't know what you're pulling out. And you almost feel like nothing's working and I feel lonely. I might as well go back to the bottle. I might as well go back to the cannabis. I might as well go back to the partying. I might as well go back to the sex. I might as well go be a mischief rather than being someone that's of higher power and of purpose in this world. I've been down that path. That's why I'm speaking about it. However, once I've built that confidence and start becoming confident in myself and start building my self-esteem, and when she said the authenticity, I was literally jumping in joy. She goes to me, you're probably the most authentic person I've met. She goes, because the things that come out of your mouth, she goes, I crack up and go girl. I could never say that, but one day I aspire to say that. And really, that's all it is. Everyone lost their backbone. Everyone's afraid of offending someone. Everyone's afraid of speaking. It's like, I'm not going to be worried about if you get triggered by what I say. I'm going to be true to myself. And then I have Jesus in my head going, remember, they hated me before they even knew you. And I was like, that's true. They didn't believe me before they believed you. And Jesus was, to me, the most authentic person out there. So if I want to be in the image of Jesus, which I can never be because damn diggity, man, I still got issues, I have to work through that. But I'm going to try to be at my best authentic self because I can't control your emotions. I can only control my own. And I think that's the big message that, you know, we get through this whole process. We listen to everyone. You could read all the books. You could hear to all the steps. You could do all the breathing and the kumbaya. But at the end of the day, when you are put in a situation, how are you going to deal with that? Because that's where the real lesson comes in.
You're right. And I agree with that. And we're going to take a quick commercial break.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. Yeah, it feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Kathleen Flanagan, your host, and we are streaming on the Bold Brave TV network. And we have Zak Liotis on the phone line because Spirit loves to play games with us when it comes to technology. I think it just wants us to play a lot. We get strong messages that come out and we play. I have to say that what you were saying definitely resonated with me. The being happy that's a choice. We make that decision every single day to be happy. And what I had to do to start becoming happier was I had to acknowledge when things were happening, start making it a point, look for things that made me happy or feel laugh or whatever. I have 4 cats in this house. Okay. They're always doing something. And I'd look at them and go, okay, well, they're playing. That's really cool. Instead of really paying attention to how they're playing and what they're doing. And then it's like, get them, Grace, get them, Sam, kind of thing. So I try to participate in the play with them. Or they'll bring me a toy. They'll walk around with a toy in their mouth and they'll go, meow, 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 with the toy in their mouth. And it's like, do you have your baby? Are you bringing me a present? And then when they do that, then they drop it. And then it's like, okay, you want me to throw the ball to you? You want me to take the fishing line and throw it? And they do. And all 4 cats will come out and participate because mommy's playing. And I laugh because they jump over each other and they do all that kind of stuff. And that's what Spirit wants of us. Yes, chaos is going to happen. Life is going to happen. But Spirit wants us to play. It's about being childlike and remembering that, because that's where the fun is. And if we can stay in that higher frequency, then the drama that's occurring outside in our 3D world doesn't have to be so intense because we're laughing through it. And that's probably the biggest thing, one of the biggest things that I have decided, that because I would see people that always looked happy and smiley, like these spiritually evolved, awakened people that seem to have a handle on themselves. And it was like, I want that. I want to look like that. I want to feel like that. And so I listened to what they said and I followed like some of the suggestions they gave me. And I thought, oh my God, that makes perfect sense. That's really easy to do. Why was this so hard for me to do? Why was I walking around with a big chip on my shoulder? Oh, I don't know. Because I was angry, because I was mistreated in my life. Well, get over it. Who cares? It's what are you doing today? Let the past go back.
Yeah. Kathleen, a lot of people don't even know what makes them happy. Everyone says, well, my children make me happy. Okay, so your children are now grown adults and they're out of the house. Now, are you still happy? And that's what I tell a lot of women. I'm like, eliminate your children, eliminate your husband, and eliminate all that, and really go with what makes you happy. Like, what is it? And all I often hear is, I don't even know. And it's like, well, you have to know that part of you, because that's going to bring the laughter in you. Is reading a book make you happy? Is going for long drives make you happy? Pedicure, manicure, whatever it is it sitting still that makes you happy? Is it sleeping that makes you happy? Is it being adventurous, going shopping, connecting with your girlfriends, or going on dates with yourself, or going on dates with friends? Like, you really need to understand what makes you happy, because the more that you get into that happy place, the more that you start having that childlike curiosity. And that's one thing that we lose as adults, is that childlike curiosity. I spend a lot of time in playgrounds with my niece. And I used to see them. I'm like, oh my God, look at her. She's just literally going up to little strange kids and going, hi, can I play with you? Like, what adult does that these days? Because they feel like, I can't go talk to those people. It's like, why not? Like, look at the kids in the playground. They go up to anybody and everybody. So we're losing a sense of community within an adult or adulthood, and we're losing that sense of connection in the adulthood eras, because we all have this vision of what it should be like, rather than just allowing it to be what it is. And that's why I feel that, when I had to go through this thing, looking for my happiness, I remember coming out of an event. Whose event was it? It was some spiritual event, and I came out of the auditorium and I looked down the street, and I remember the street brought back so many, teenage memories of partying there. And I was like, I remember the days I used to run these streets as a club promoter. And I'm like, I don't even know what makes me happy anymore. I left that event. I got in my car and I cried so hard. And I thought to myself, you lost your happiness, because you gave whatever you gave to so many people, but you totally forgot about yourself. So when I drove down those streets after that event, and I was like, clubbing definitely does not make me happy. Drinking definitely does not make me happy. So that's the old stuff. I understand that. But what truly, lights me up? And it was like going on those long road trips, country road trips, that antique shopping, hanging with my girlfriend, cooking a good meal, being creative in the kitchen, even walking around my house naked, thinking like, hey, this is fun. I could, be naked in my own damn house. It's just a matter of allowing yourself to be free, and that freedom becomes happiness, and that happiness becomes joy. Then you build more confidence in so many different ways, but there's no right or wrong answer to happiness. There's just no right or wrong answer. What makes me happy doesn't necessarily need to make you happy. I hear Spirit saying to me, like, eating fog raw to some people could be happiness, and to me, I'm just kind of going, no, thank you, I'm good. That's not my happiness. So, like, you cannot calculate your happiness based on anyone else, but the way that feeling happens in your body. Like, if you tell me we're going to the cottage, I will start preparing a month in advance for the cottage. And because that's my happy place, going up north, going into nature, jumping in water, cooking all day, having a bonfire, all these things are my happy place. So we really have to understand where our happy place is. And if you don't know that, that's step one in creating a spiritual aware life, because then through that, you start to dive into different parts of yourself. And when you dive into those different parts of yourself, you're going to feel uncomfortable, but who cares? Get naked. And I don't literally mean get naked, but if you want to literally get naked, go ahead. But get naked with your emotions. Get naked with your truth. That's the only way that you'll get that higher vibrational frequency of authenticity. That's all it is. But it sounds so easy. As I'm saying it, I'm like, that just sounded so easy. But man, it's work. It's tears. It's yelling. It's crying. It's every emotion in your body that is now coming out of you. And be expressive about it. I remember driving and yelling, ah! And I'm sure I thought I looked crazy. But I was fine with looking crazy. So you got to be okay with looking crazy sometimes, because you're pulling crazy out of you and releasing crazy. So that's the sheer joy of happiness now. Like, what did I go through this whole week? I remember Spirit saying to me, find the beauty in what you're going through. I'm like, what, freezing my ass off and not having hot water? It's gorgeous. Thank God I don't live on the streets. That's the beauty of it. Thank God I don't live in a third world country where I have a tin roof over my head. At least I have a roof over my head. So there is beauty in everything that we're experiencing or have experienced. And that's what we have to look at, is that beauty of everything. And all the women that I've worked through, everything going on in the last little while, they now laugh so hard and they're like, Zak, I never thought I could get out of it. I'm like, you just needed to borrow my eyes, sister. That's all. You just needed to borrow my eyes to see the truth of who you are. And it's about showing love. It's about showing self-love. Because love, this is the so cliche, but love is the healer of all things. And when you put everything into love, it's like, oh, damn. Now I see why that happened. Now I understand why that shows up. Now I understand why I'm in this marriage or this situation or what I created in my life. So find your happiness. That's step number one in anything you do. If you don't know what makes you happy, start going out there and figure out what makes you happy.
I know that when I know what makes me happy. And I remember when I first did ballroom dancing, I knew I was a dancer. I loved dancing. That was always something that made me happy. But when I started ballroom dancing, there was a big shift, and I was more childlike. It was very stressful learning to dance with a partner. I had to learn to trust my dance partner. I had to learn how to dance in his energy field plus my energy field, then create another energy field, because that's what we did, because you dance for yourself, you dance for him, and then you have to create the couple dance. And when I was going through all of that, I was also receiving information from Spirit, and all this is in the books, that this is the dance of life. It doesn't matter if you've got a ballroom dancer, or if you've got a partner or a girlfriend or your kids or animals. It's a dance of life. It's about you maintaining your energy. You are in an energy of another person, and then that union, whatever that is, creates a different energy vibration. And I don't think any of us realize to the extent of what that is, because we're either people pleasing, oh, I want to make you happy and I'm not worthy to be happy or whatever. But what I found when I started taking back my power and saying, no, I'm worthy, I'm deserving. You don't get to treat me like this. You don't get to talk to me like this. This is your shit. This is not mine. You know, like the things you say, Zak, this is a you problem, not a me problem. When I started doing that, and in the third book, I started doing that a lot, especially with men, because I never could stand up to a man. And I started saying, oh, no, this is a you problem. You need to get over it. Well, you know, you just bring out this and this and this. Well, that's your problem. That's not my problem. You don't get to treat me that way. And I walked away from a lot of men during that period of time, which was fine. I needed to. This was part of what Spirit was bringing to me, to like, what is it that you want, little miss? What do you want? How do you want to be treated? And the whole time, here's Sal out in the background in Chicago somewhere, and I'm still pining for him, and I'm watching this, and I keep going back here, and I still see his flaws, but there was something about him that just kept bringing us back together, and it was the stability of who he was. He was an authentic person. He didn't shame or belittle me. He was authentic with where he was at that time. And that authenticity is powerful, because when he came out here, he's authentic, I'm authentic, and now we've created a totally different relationship around that. But we don't take anything personal with each other. We do what we need to do. We hold in ourselves. If we need to say back off, we say that, and we respect each other for that. And that's a powerful place to be, because that brings that self-confidence and that joy and happiness, because you're heard and you're respected and you're loved and you're comfortable in your skin, and nobody's going to shame or belittle you. Well, we're going to take a quick break and wind up the show.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery, or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality? But it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating. Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like, it was almost instant. Like, I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. Yeah, it feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Kathleen Flanagan, your host, and we're streaming on the Bold Brave TV network. And I have Zak Liotis with us on the phone. I can't believe that the show is already, we're at the final 8 minutes of the show. So Zak, what is one piece of advice you would offer our audience to help them to move into a different direction, to achieve their dream, or to become a bigger version of themselves?
Oof. Whoa. Only one piece of advice?
Only one.
Oh, as you're
I know you'll give us more.
I'll give you one, because as you were saying that, I just heard the word breath. Because if we don't have flow in our body through our breath, we will never find flow in the world outside of us. And if we're not finding flow in the world outside of us, we're going to feel stagnant and we're not going to know which way to move. So the breath within us is literally creating the path outside of us. Because if you could breathe all the way down to your root chakra, which is your tailbone, you're creating that beautiful flow in your body, in and out, inhaling, exhaling, which will give you that same path of understanding where you're going. So I would say one piece of advice I'd give is bring awareness to your breath and where your stuck. Is it your throat? Is it your heart? Is your solar, your sacral, your root? Because then from there, you'll know how to reverse engineer what you may be experiencing in your life. So breath is where I say. That's my final answer.
I love it, because that is the truth, the breath of life. We have that's when you're calm. When people are hyperventilating or they're stressed, what do people around them say? Breathe, breathe. Take in the deep breath, not the short, shallow breaths, because that just aspirates the intensity of the stress that you're under. But breathing and calming yourself down calms the whole nervous system down. And then you can start seeing things differently and clearly. When I go out in the forest, what do? And I'm breathing, I'm hugging a tree. It's that type of thing. And I pay attention to my breath a lot. But when you said that, it was like, yeah, that's it. Like there was like a whole new revelation that came in about the breath. And I focus in because the breath brings in the healing that our bodies need. It calms our mind down. It starts recircuiting us. It does a lot of things, and people don't even realize how much that breath is so powerful and key for us in today's society, because most of us are breathing from the top of our stomachs instead of from the bottom of our stomachs, where we really need to bring that diaphragm in and out to really contract and expand. That's what our universe is doing, contracting and expanding right now.
Yes. So important. And, I noticed that even with myself today. I just sat still and I'm like, breathe, honey, breathe. And I tell myself that, at times I like to take an awareness to my body and say, like, how are you breathing right now? And I just like, oh, yeah, I'm stuck in sacral right now. I'm like, okay, let's move through that. So if we bring awareness to our breath, we start to bring awareness to our body. We start to bring awareness to how we feel. It's like breath and water. So think of the first thing when we're born, your water breaks, right? So we're 70% water. But then the first thing that they slap your bum with is to get that breath in. So breath and water are the most important things for survival, I believe.
I believe that too. How can people get a hold of you?
They can connect with me at Instagram at Spiritual Hustler. That's HSTLR. Spiritual is just regular SPIRITUAL. And Hustler again, HSTLR. They could connect with me on bfuclub.com. That is the inner circle. So there you could see everything that I do. You could read about me there. Or they could connect with me on Facebook at the Empress Hangout. And that's where I do my lives. I give a lot of weekly, what's happening with your weekly energy forecast. And yeah, let's connect. Let's start working through whatever is coming up for us.
Yeah, and I'm on her Empress Facebook, and she does bring really great advice every Monday morning. It's wonderful. A great way to start your week out and get an idea of where you are and set the tone for your week, because you ultimately have all the control. Well, I want to thank you, Zak, for joining us. And if you, the audience, huh?
I said thank you for having me, despite our childlike.
That's okay. I love having you on the show. I missed you last month, so I'm really excited that you got to be on, even if it was a little crazy in the beginning. But that's part of what we go through on this show.
Exactly. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, if you found value here today, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel at Kathleen M. Flanagan. My books, Dancing Soul, The Call, and The Dark Night of the Soul, are available on Amazon.com, as well as KathleenMFlanagan.com. Book 3, Awakened, is scheduled to be published before the end of the year. Woohoo! Check out Kathleen M. Flanagan. I know, I'm so excited. Check out KathleenMFlanagan.com for a list of services and products being offered there. The 3-minute de-stress meditation is available absolutely free. No email is required. Be sure to visit awakeningspirit.com and take advantage of the 40% discount at the checkout and enter Brave TV in the coupon code, and all the prices will adjust automatically. The same applies for Grandma's Natural Remedies, where you will receive a 20% discount by entering Brave TV in the coupon code. Next week, we have Jen Drummond, Becoming Unbreakable. I will see you all next week, next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And from my heart to yours, I hope you have a fabulous week. Take care.
This has been the Journey of an Awakening Spirit with your host, Kathleen Flanagan. Join Kathleen each week as she will inspire and empower all those who are drawn to her to live their highest vision in the context of love and joy. Right here Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network.